Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're here with an episode about a new saint.
Now, I will say, we did record this before the 7th of September. So, hopefully nothing happened again that resulted in new saints being pushed back.
Look, if it gets pushed back, we simply won't release this video on schedule.
But anyway, we've already discussed Blessed Carlo.
Many times.
Many times. So, I figured we would also discuss the other new saint who should be sainted on the 7th.
Mm-hmm. That is Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati.
Yes.
Who will become Saint Pier Giorgio Frassati.
Which reminds me, I need to get a medal to put on my walking stick.
He was born the 6th of April
you have a sticker right here.
in 1901.
Well, that's true.
In Turin, the Kingdom of Italy.
It's not the same, though.
And he died on July the 4th, 1925, 100 years ago, also in the Kingdom of Italy. So just 24 years old. And part of the reason you may not be that familiar with him, especially if you're in the United States, his feast day is his death day, the 4th of July.
That, and he's very popular among younger people because he was a young person.
Because he died young.
But, you know, for our viewers that are like, I've been Catholic for, decades and decades, they might not have known about him because, it slowly built up.
Yeah, absolutely. For a long time, there was a pause in his cause due to, some what turned out to be spurious allegations. And so it didn't get going again until the late 70s under St. Paul VI.
Yes. I have a list of attributes of him, but they are very much unofficial because basically, if you see a picture of him, 90% of the time, it is literally a photograph of him.
Well, and that's the thing about him, because he died in a relatively modern context. We actually do have photos of him.
So we have a lot of photos of him in a nice suit, fancy official things, and we have a lot of ones where he is smoking a pipe and quite often on a mountain.
Yeah, well, because the way society was then, he was from a middle to upper class family, is you would wear a suit. Except when you were mountaineering.
Yes, and then you
which
wear
is one of his
striped shirt and
which is
weird pants.
One of his great passions was mountaineering.
Durable pants.
Well, they have like that weird poof out thing,
So, again, mountains. And one of his famous slogans was Versa Alto, to the heights. Always encouraging, really let's go to the spiritual heights, but hey, just for fun, let's go to the physical heights too.
He is the patron of students, young Catholics, mountaineers, youth groups, Catholic Action, Dominican tertiaries, and, surprisingly, among all this other stuff, students, young Catholics, youth groups, World Youth Day.
I mean, technically, he was made the patron of, certain World Youth Days, but, it's one of those things where...
I don't know. I think if you were made the patron of more than one World Youth Day...
He's a good patron of the concept.
You in general, own the thing.
He was an activist, a humanitarian, a third-order Dominican, a mountaineer, an athlete, and, what's not on our list but is still true, a pool hustler.
I did not have that information on my thing, but yes, that totally makes sense with everything else I have about him. He was called the Man of the Eight Beatitudes by John Paul II.
Who declared him venerable in 1987 and then a saint in 1980.
Possibly due to the fact that they both love mountains.
It doesn't hurt to have a hobby in common with the Pope.
JP2 loves going down them. He loved going up them. It's very, Plus, his sister, who has her own Wikipedia page, appeared to have married a Polish man.
I think you got it a little bit wrong. You said he made him he named him a saint in 1980. I believe you mean beatific.
He beatified. He beatified him in 1990. Made venerable in 1989, blessed in 1990.
For just a moment, I thought maybe we somehow managed to go back in time on the show.
It's all very timey-wimey. So,
yes.
He was born on Holy Saturday to Alfredo Frassati, an agnostic newspaper owner. The owner of the giant liberal paper in Turin, La Stampa.
Yes. He also became a senator and an ambassador during his lifetime as well.
And Adelaide Amitis, who was a painter, he had one sister, Luciana Frassati Garonska, who was born in 1902 and died a little less than 20 years ago in 2007.
Yeah, she lived to be over 100, and like I said, like, she had her own little link when I was a little kid, and I'm like, I have to double check that she lived to be 105, and she did many of the same things that her brother did, a bit more in the secular sphere, but also still some religious, and a lot more related to dealing with fighting things like fascism in Poland versus Italy, but you know.
Well, again, we have no evidence he was ever in Poland, so he wouldn't have to fight anything there.
Yeah.
As a child, he was known as the Terror due to his love of practical jokes, but he was also known for his desire to help others and his devotional life.
I really imagine that he was the type of kid that has the more wholesome version of the saying, boys will be boys. You know, what's young Pierre doing? He climbed the roof and said it was Mount Everest, and now he's putting a flag on this roof. He turned all the clocks upside down. The time's right. It just looks wrong.
When I saw him placing the flag, I asked him, "Oh, are you claiming it for Italy?" He said, "No, I am claiming it for God."
I'm claiming it for the former paper states. He was very intelligent, but he was only an average student. He failed his exams in 1913, which resulted in him being sent to a Jesuit-run school.
Which, given everything else, he probably actually liked that better than
You
the
know,
school he was at.
I gotta say though,
But I mean, that's very broad-minded of his agnostic father.
I gotta say though, it's a
It
really
appears
weird.
that his mother was probably rather religious. You know?
Nate?
I gotta say, it's a really weird kind of a flip kind of a thing, right? Where like nowadays, if you fail out of private school, you're gonna go to the public school. But once upon a time, you failed out of the public schools. Well, I guess you're gonna have to go to private school.
I mean, it could be like...
It is kind of along the lines, though, of like the 1980s threat of I'm going to send you to military school.
Catholic schools are the schools of last resort because they'll take most students.
Yes, I was going to say it could be like the school that I did not go to, because the people who went there didn't graduate. They got pregnant or ended up in jail, where it's like, you got kicked out of every public school in the area. As long as you pay, the Catholic school will take you.
He was not like that. He was a good boy.
No.
Well, yeah, mostly good.
It was largely
I'm sorry if he
lighthearted
was doing pool hustling. There's
But you need to know the rest of the story.
Please.
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
That takes place later in his life.
Okay. So, he was involved in many student groups and groups dedicated to social action, like the Young Catholic Workers' Congress, the Apostolate de Prefera, which is the Pope's worldwide prayer network, and Catholic Action. It was once arrested because he was protesting fascism.
Good man.
That's all right by me. I'm good with that.
In Italy in the 1920s.
I mean, it's a rough crowd, but you know.
Well, it's hard to protest them before they seize power. He joined a St. Vincent de Paul conference in 1918 to help the poor and the less fortunate. And that's why, St. John Paul called him the man of the 8 Beatitudes. He had great material wealth of his own, great privilege, but he spent his time serving the less fortunate.
That year, he also began his studies in engineering to become a mining engineer to serve Christ better among the miners. Miners, not mine-ors.
Yes. Plink, plink, plink.
Which, knowing nothing about Turin, besides, that they have a shroud, I'm guessing the geography is such that mining is an important industry in the area.
Well,
A lot of the northern areas of Italy are mountainous, so therefore there are great deposits within rock and things.
And Turin is one of the industrial engines of Italy. So you need a lot of coal, a lot of other minerals to, make stuff.
Yes, and there is no way to mine that does not A, destroy the environment, and or B, destroy the lives of the people who have to do the mining.
But you can minimize both those
You can
things.
minimize both of them, which is why one would become an engineer to work on, better safety equipment and stuff.
He became a third order member of the Order of Saint Dominic on May 28th, 1922, taking the religious name Girolamo in honor of Girolamo Savonarola, OP.
I mean, he was
Order of
Dominican,
preachers.
so order of preachers.
Savonarola was a radical in the Middle Ages, the 1300s.
Somewhere around there, like, I checked to see, as far as I know, he is not sainted, but his life story totally fits
Yeah.
with...
So at one
what,
point,
you know.
at one point, he took over. I think it was Florence, and imposed a regime that was deeply focused on the morals of the people. So against the excesses of the elites. And it is from him that the bonfires of the vanities arise, because he would encourage people to burn all the stuff that was a vanity of vanities, all the stuff that was keeping them from God.
And I feel like we could do the pool hustling story you have about now, because at this point, it's got to be around that era.
So he's a young adult, and he is a bon vivant. He's just full of life. He's climbing mountains. He's doing stuff. So he would challenge people to games of pool. And he was a very good at pool. So he would invariably win. And he wouldn't collect money from them. He would collect holy hours and masses. So he would find people in bars, hustle them at pool, and then make them spend an hour in front of the Blessed Sacrament.
Okay.
He was a pool hustler for Jesus. Come on. You gotta love this. Yeah, there was a little deception in the fact that he didn't say.
No. Now look, if these people were
Did
willing
they
to
ask him point blank, are you really good at pool?
I doubt that they asked him, "Are you a pool hustler?"
I mean, odds
If
are,
not,
look,
at most, it's a sin of omission.
look, they were already attempting to play pool against him in order to take his money.
They were trying to hustle him.
I consider this to be fraternal correction.
Uh-huh.
He said, now you've lost. Go spend some time with Jesus and think about what you've done.
I'll come with you. It'll be great.
I'll come with you. It'll be great. We're going to have fun. Let's do this. Hey, Mass is in 20 minutes.
Chop chop.
We can be there in 10. Gives us 10 minutes to pray.
Another thing I know about him is, because the general liberal current in Italy of the era was very anti-clericalist. So, because they were very tied up with the old regime, the old papal states, and just So his father wasn't totally opposed to Catholics. He let him send him to a Jesuit school, but he didn't want his son to be too Catholic. So what Pier Giorgio would do is he'd get up early, go to morning mass, come home, get back in bed, and then get called down to breakfast.
Which is why we need more early morning masses, priests.
Boom.
No.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying to replace the later morning ones. I'm simply saying that for those individuals who say, I don't know, wake up at 7:30, wake up at 6:30 in the morning, and don't have anything better to do.
Well, a discussion for another time. The 8 or 8 a.m. daily mass, that is a retired person's mass. If you want people who work for a living to be able to go to mass on a daily basis, it's got to be earlier.
Yeah, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Come on.
But
I mean,
we could take that up another time.
it depends on how long you make the mass and how far they have to go. But
Daily mass should be half an hour.
Anyways, getting back on track. When he graduated from his engineering degree, his father offered him either a car or money.
It's good to be rich.
And this was a nice Italian car
Yep.
for a reasonable amount of money.
This is the 1920s.
This is the 1920s.
Luxury.
Yeah.
This is the 1920s. Any car would have been a luxury. I mean, Henry Ford was out here trying to make cars that were more affordable for the average person, but Henry Ford had a different opinion of what the average person was than what most people nowadays would think the average person is.
Also, I can't imagine the assembly line hit it off easily and quickly in Italy.
Somehow there are members of the G7. It's bizarre, but somehow they managed to make it work.
Anyways, he picked the money.
Because he didn't want something that would just suit himself.
Yep, which he then gave to the poor. He also supported 3 children of an ill widow and helped at least 2 sick or homeless people with getting a place to stay.
This is a kid in his early 20s, and he's supporting widows and orphans. This is incredible.
Yeah, this guy is single-handedly being a homeless shelter and Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
What? Or St. Vincent de Paul.
Yeah.
He was an avid mountaineer and a member of the Club Alpino Italiano, the climbing mountains like the Grand Tourmaline and Mount Viso. Monte Viso.
He was also a swimmer. He learned dancing, although he didn't particularly like it, and was known as an athlete.
He was also a Renaissance man. He could recite Dante. He enjoyed the theater and museum trips with friends. He spoke not only his native Italian, but also German and French.
Yes. He also...
Which living in the north of Italy would be really beneficial because you've got France over here, you've got Switzerland right here, which speaks both French and German, and then on the other side of Switzerland you've got Austria and Germany there.
And this is just after World War II, so Italy has just absorbed World War One. Sorry, just after World War I, so Italy has just absorbed a couple of German-speaking provinces from the old Austrian Empire.
Yes.
He apparently also enjoyed seeing the cinema as long as he had time to research the film first to make sure that,
Nothing scandalous.
He didn't find anything scandalous.
Smart man. So,
because he didn't walk into the theater and say, yeah, this one should be fine. How bad could it be?
Yeah. So the early version of those, I can't think of the name of any of the organizations now, but that rate films for their family friendliness.
Yes. And although he learned dancing, it appeared that if he had lived longer, he probably would have possibly moved from a third order to a higher order because he had dated a girl. He liked her, but he ultimately decided that essentially his life wasn't to be, getting married and having kids.
Yeah, so he might have become a professed Dominican.
At which point he wouldn't have to do much dancing anymore.
Although there's a number of Dominicans.
I didn't say he wouldn't dance at all. I said he wouldn't have to do much dancing.
Although, there are the hillbilly Thomists. You have Dominicans who play all kinds of instruments, so there's nothing that says there couldn't be a Dominican dance group.
It'd probably be a much less structured dancing.
I know at least one Carmelite who really enjoyed dancing until she decided that she was going to get rid of shoes and reform the order.
On June 30th, in 1925, he was boating with two friends on the Po River when he started to experience sharp pains in his back.
Good.
By the time he got home, he also had a headache and a fever. His grandmother also died on July 1st, so he tried to let his family mourn her over instead of worrying about his sickness. However, by the next day, he couldn't even get up on his own, having gotten polio. It quickly became apparent. I just need to make. I'm reading on like a 45-degree angle.
You're reading on a slant, and it's
So I need to make sure I'm going from line to line. It quickly became apparent that he was near death. He gave his final wishes to his sister and was given last rites early July 4th. His last words were, "May I breathe forth my soul in peace with you," said to his mother at about 4 p.m. He died at about 7 p.m. His funeral was attended by friends, family, and elite political figures, but the streets were lined with thousands of mourners due to all the people he had helped in his life.
Which apparently his parents were surprised by.
Completely caught off guard.
They totally expected, our friends, our family, his friends, various political figures, given that the dad was a senator and an ambassador, going to show up. But there was people lining the way to the church.
But given that, let's be honest, if he was, and I expect he was, the man of virtue that we've been led to believe that he was.
Absolutely was.
Then when he got the money from his dad for graduating, which he gave to the poor, he didn't go and tell anybody what he did with that money. Or at the very most, he said he did something with it, but did so in such a way that A, he was not causing any scandal, and at the same time was not actually claiming what was literally done with it.
Yep.
Yeah. One of those things where
I went out and had dinner with friends, I'm
going to go do some mountaineering. Dad thinks new equipment. He's like, nope, still using this stick and this pipe.
Just like
smoking was fairly important for his mountaineering.
Look, hey, come on now.
Hey, he died of polio, so it was fine.
It's fine.
The virus completely separate from smoking.
It was the 20s. People did not know that smoking was possibly bad for you.
Plus, I maintain that in the world of Star Trek, everyone would smoke because you get all the benefits and none of the deathly disadvantages.
Yeah.
So, he, like a good Christian, he had not let his left hand know what his right was doing. So much of his almsgiving was in secret. And his parents completely caught off guard by this incredible outpouring of love from the poorest of the poor of Turin.
It's amazing. He'd been buried in the family plot, but was later transferred to Turin Cathedral in 1981 after his body had been declared incorrupt.
Yeah, that's a normal part of the canonization process. They dig you up, see how's the body doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they won't dig me up.
I mean, I find it interesting. It's a normal part of the process.
How's my body doing? It's fine. It's probably still ash.
We will see whether or not that is an obstacle to your canonization.
But see, being incorrupt is not something that counts
Correct.
as a 0.4.
Correct.
Because there are completely, non-religious people, people who are all sorts of other things who just, due to weird natural things, are incorrupt. It's just like a little personal, hey, this doesn't count, but isn't this neat nowadays?
That's exactly it. Hey, isn't this neat?
And
especially after, the 1850s, 60s, when we started doing, various embalming, where it's like, technically to be incorrupt, you can't be embalmed, but there's a certain amount of, are we sure they were embalmed or not, and how much?
and
Like
Michael,
that creepy baby in that one, catacomb, where it's like they embalmed her so good, she looks like she's sleeping.
Yeah.
and Michael,
Sir.
you need to remember, in the event that it occurs, my canonization is for you.
I appreciate
It's not for me. Mm-hmm. So if I don't get canonized, as long as I could be canonized, I'm all right with that.
But what if others suffer because they lack your example?
Look, I'm not.
His example includes being like, if I'm going to be canonized and I'm cremated, how about you throw me out of a cannon?
see, Mike,
Double canonization.
I understand what you're saying, but my point isn't so much that I'm trying not to lead the life of virtue.
Good, you clearly are.
I'm attempting to lead a life of virtue. I'm not good at it. I'm
Fair.
not good at it, and I acknowledge that I'm not good at it. And if you're using me as a role model,
No, Nate
50-50.
Nate is a great role model in that he has yet to give up.
That's correct.
He stumbles and he falls and he tries again.
Oh, I don't give up. I don't give up.
He's very-
Anybody who's fought me knows I don't give up.
He's very stubborn.
Plus, there was the issue that they were running out of space out of the over 100-year-old cemetery. So
it's not so much that I'm saying
we're way off track. But again, keep striving. And Pier Giorgio, just as a neat extra, was found to be incorrupt.
He got a bonus.
Plus, when they have you around, it's easier to distribute relics. Now, I guess they could distribute vials of your ashes.
No. I mean,
If we could send the heart of St. John Vianney on a worldwide tour,
Look,
if we
if
could have
you-
the skull of a saint in one place and the rest of their body in another.
I think if you took the ashes and they were sort of sealed into a thing, a holy thing, is then
Yeah.
it's going to be like the family that has all the relics in our area, who has a relic of St. Edith Stein that is a second class, unlike everything else being a first class.
Yeah,
Yes.
all the first class relics went up the chimney. Damn Nazis. So, that is
Pier Giorgio Frassati.
who,
One
as
of
of
our newest saints.
who, if nothing else goes wrong, because he was originally scheduled to be canonized last month.
Who, if nothing
in
else goes
August.
wrong, from when we filmed this,
Well, it's interesting. So, also on this day, Saint Carlo Acutis was supposed to be canonized way back in April, and that was derailed directly by the death of Pope Francis, because when it was supposed to happen was still during the 9 days of mourning. So clearly, a canonization was impossible because there was no pope to infallibly declare this dude's a saint. So rescheduled for later. Pier Giorgio was going to be canonized in August during the Synod of Youth.
Which makes sense.
Would totally make sense. And for what are to me less clear reasons, that was rescheduled from August to this same date with now St. Carlo.
I mean, it makes sense to put them together.
Totally.
Two young guys.
Two young Italians about a century apart.
Completely different lives.
Yep. Yeah.
This guy's always out in nature.
This guy's
guy
a computer
can
nerd.
recode.
Yep. But it shows that holiness comes in all different sizes and shapes. Comment below with your favorite tidbit about Saint Pier Giorgio Frassati, including if you have any stories that we missed.
We probably did, because I just did a
Oh,
rough story.
Yeah. I mean, he had a short life, but an action-packed life.
And because part of me wanted a deep dive on his sister, who had lived to 105.
We can totally do that. Give this episode a like, subscribe to our channel, ring the church bell to be notified the next time we talk about someone who's been canonized, whether recently or very, very long ago.
And until next time, remember, as always, to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.